likes Halloween candy?
Me!
Well, we're going to replace candy with some healthy Halloween treats today. These are called veggie fruit chews, guys.
This is the most worst I ever tasted. Not good. Mine tastes like broccoli. Yuck. Mine tasted like poo-poo. Kinda good, kinda bad.
Be honest with me, Adriana.
It's bad.
We have asparagus flavor, beet flavor, vitamin A and D.
Hey, you're saying disgusting stuff is good stuff, and it's disgusting.
You're going to love these healthy nori pops.
Nori pops?
It also has a fibrous quality, which is going to get your colon going in the morning.
They're disgusting.
These are tofu ghost mellows.
Tastes like rotten dough.
What about artichoke buttercups?
I threw up.
You threw up? Okay. They're delicious, healthy cupcakes.
It tastes like poopy pinata.
Counting riboflavin. B12. B12 is like the best treat you can get on Halloween.
It's like the worst thing I've ever tasted. I think I need water.
These are the treats that are replacing candy on Halloween. How do you like Halloween without candy?
I want candy!
Hello students, this is Notes 210 on word problems. This begins our unit on word problems using all sorts of systems of equations. So for this objective we have that the learner will analyze a situation, formulate a system of equations, solve the system, and then determine the reasonableness of your solution. So I've written down some steps that you can take anytime you are solving word problems. The first thing that you're going to do is you want to establish the variables, okay? And then the second thing that you want to do is you want to write a system of equations. The third step is you will solve the system of equations using any of the methods below. You can use graphing, substitution, elimination, or matrices. And then number 4, you want to write your answer correlating to the problem, and you want to use the correct units if needed. Usually when you solve a system of equations, you're going to write it as an ordered pair, but when you do a word problem, you want to make sure that the reader is understanding what these numbers represent. So you're going to go back to your variables that you chose for x and y and write your answer with those explanations. So let's look at our first example. I'm only going to do one example in this video, and we'll do more when you come to class tomorrow. In this example, it says, after years of research, the nation's health experts agree that high cholesterol in the blood is a major contributor to heart disease. Thus, cholesterol intake should be limited to 300 milligrams or less per day. I'm going to underline that right now. Fast foods provide a cholesterol carnival. Altogether, 2 McDonald's Quarter Pounders, I'm going to underline that, and 3 Burger King Whoppers with cheese contain 520 milligrams of cholesterol. And then 3 Quarter Pounders and 1 Whopper with cheese exceed, so that's a key word, exceed the suggested daily intake by 53 milligrams. Determine the cholesterol content in each item. So the first time you read through it, you probably would have just read the problem. The second time you read through it, go ahead and underline the key pieces of information. And so I did that the very first time I read through it. So the two things that we are comparing here are we're comparing Quarter Pounders from McDonald's and Whoppers with cheese from Burger King. And we're comparing their cholesterol content. And so that's going to be our variables. That's the first thing you're going to do is establish your variables. So we're going to write down that it is the cholesterol. X is going to be the cholesterol in a McDonald's. So I'm just going to put Mickey D's. Quarter Pounder, so just QP. And I'll just leave it like that. And then the Y value, we're going to say that the Y value is the cholesterol in a Burger King Whopper with cheese. So BK Whopper with cheese. Okay, now let's decide what my two systems of equations are. Okay, so in the first one, in the first sentence, it says, where we're talking about McDonald's and Burger King, in the first sentence it says that altogether, where'd my cursor go? Altogether, 2 McDonald's Quarter Pounders and 3 Burger King Whoppers with cheese, they contain 520 milligrams of cholesterol. So let's make an equation with that. So I've got 2 of the McDonald's Quarter Pounders, so 2 times X, plus 3 of the Burger King Whoppers, so 3 times Y, and that contains, so that equals 520 milligrams of cholesterol. My second equation says that 3 Quarter Pounders, so 3 times X, because that's the variable I'm using for my Quarter Pounders, plus 1 Whopper, so I'm just going to say 1 Y, so just write Y, that's going to equal, it's going to exceed, keyword, exceed the suggested daily intake. So what was our suggested daily intake? Well, if you go back up here at the top, our suggested daily intake was 300 milligrams or less each day. So if it exceeds that by 53, then that's going to be the 300 plus 53, so that's going to total 353 milligrams of cholesterol. And so now we're going to go ahead and solve our system. Now, again, you can use any of the methods that we have done in class. You could use graphing, substitution, elimination, or matrices. I think probably all the time the easiest one would be the matrices, but if you notice on this one that I could go ahead and solve this with elimination because it would be really easy to get that second equation to have a y value of -3, so that then I can just add them together. So if I'm going to take this second equation and multiply it by -3, because that will get my y values to cancel. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to write the next equation down here. So that would be a -9x plus a -3y, and that equals, if I multiply -3 times that, I'm going to get, let's see, 9 and then 15, carry the 1, so that would be -1059. That is a 1 there, so -1059 cholesterol. So let's go ahead and add these two equations together. So I'm not using this one anymore because I've gone ahead and I've multiplied it by -3 down here. So let's go ahead and do that. So 2x minus 9x is going to give us -7x. And then the y's are going to cancel. And that's going to equal 520 minus 1059 is -539. And then let's divide both sides by -7. So you might want to do that on your calculator. Let me do that on mine real quick. -539 divided by a -7. It's going to be 77. So now that I have my x value, I can plug it back in to get my y value. So I'm going to write that over here. I'm just going to plug it into the top equation. So I have 2 times my x value that I just found of 77 plus 3y equals 520. 2 times 77 is 154 plus 3y, and that equals 520. So you're going to subtract 154 from both sides. I'm going to run out of room, so I'm going to write it over here. So that would be 3y equals 520 minus 154 is 366, I believe, if I I did that right on my calculator. And then divide by 3. So y is equal to 122. Okay, and so then the last thing that you're going to do is you want to write your answer correlating to the problem. So I'm going to write that right here. That means that my X value, my cholesterol in a McDonald's quarter pounder, is 77, and the units for this was in milligrams. So 77 milligrams. And then the Y value was 122. So that's 122 milligrams in a Burger King Whopper with cheese. Now I've run out of room, but I would like for you to write that in a complete sentence, and that is going to be the answer to this problem. Okay, so if you come to class tomorrow, we will be working on word problems in class, so just be ready and please write down any questions that you have so that you can ask me those tomorrow, and don't forget to fill out your WISC. Have a good evening.